Welcome to Center Hice Productions. It is October 16th, 2023. Please hit the likes and the subscribes down below. I would muchly appreciate your assistance in growing the channel, and we'd really like to get the numbers way up there. Please hit the likes and subscribes. Let your friends and family know about it as well. This is a review of the Habs game against the Blackhawks Saturday night, and good performance. Different stories to this game. Anyway, we outplayed them for two periods. The first two periods, Habs played a pretty solid game. Period three was nothing to write home about to mom. That's for sure. A little bit of let up there by the Habs. However, we suffered a massive blow in that first period. For the excitement, I know for me, Dach has probably been the one I've been probably the biggest on the Habs with, other than I'm talking on in the offense. This has been kind of the guy I've have a lot more excitement. I just think there's so much he's moving up potentially, and he's kind of my guy. And he's down and out with a nasty hit from, which was a clean hit though from Tenorti. However, it looks like you look at it, it kind of went in there awkwardly into their bench. Anyway, the game ends up 3-2 for the Montreal Canadiens. However, I mean, if you looked at the stats, we really, and if you were watching the game, we really had the first total control for the first two periods. We managed to do quite well with the loss of the presence of Dach. I was quite impressed that his line mates, Slav and Newhook, they kind of held their own and did quite well even with the loss of him. So it's just going to be a matter of hopefully he's not gone for too long. I haven't, I keep looking up for reports and I haven't heard anything yet. We've heard rumors that it's not serious. I hope that's the case because boy, oh boy, not the way to start off the year with someone as important as Dach. Anyway, we won the game 3-2 and we barely hung on, to tell you the truth, and it shouldn't have been that way. The final shots were 36 shots for Montreal, 30 for Chicago, and breakdown of the game. It was just, again, it's sad to see how it went. It was nice to see Pearson score a goal, uh, Monahan score a goal. Nice breakaway he was set up, but Harvey Pinard had a fabulous game. Tyler Johnson, I mean, it's those two goals, to be quite frank. One of them bouncing off the skates of Caden Gooley. You feel bad for Gooley, but however, um, the tracking of the puck by Monty for me is questionable. I mean, Monty had a good game. He came through big at times, but anybody boosting his tires, those two goals weren't spectacular goals. They were goals I believe he should have had. Okay, so I'm not overly excited. Yes, he did manage to do it. Allen did in the first game. Neither one of these two have excited me. Neither one of these, just because Monty comes out with the win here in Montreal, doesn't mean he's the starter. He faced a much weaker squad than the Toronto Maple Leafs. So Allen did quite well and held us in. We actually should have had that game in Toronto, even though we know how they're a powerhouse juggernaut compared to us. But we had the most played in game one. So for this game, we had a much weaker opponent. Thank God we managed to keep Bedard off the scoreboard. He got a couple assists though. He got some assists, sorry, and Peter Mrazek did half decent, if you ask me. It was, again, wasn't a bad game. Um, we stayed in it. Cole Caulfield again scores a beautiful goal. What can you say? A goal a game is what it's looking like. In the second period, the goals came, and so we get Cole Caulfield, and that's the kind of the way it went. Basically, nice to see. Goalie had a nice game defensively overall. Um, he was a +2, and he had an assist, and his assist was very nice, a nice pass. So that's Monahan had a fabulous game. for that third line again that looked alive. So, first goal comes in the second period, 3:54. Cole Caulfield assisted by Josh Anderson. Second goal comes from Tanner Pearson, assisted by, and what a bullet it was from Caden Gooley and Sean Monahan. And then, of course, the final goal for the Habs with Harvey Pinard again coming through um, and making such a beautiful shorthanded play that gets it up to Monahan, and he makes no mistake on the breakaway. So nice to see Monty get rewarded. Uh, and Tyler Johnson again, he comes through again with two goals. They came through in the third period, 35 seconds into the third. They get their first, then at 18:39 they get the second, and it looked like they were going to get a third. Uh, Hits, they out hit us, and that was something that kind of bothered me. They were putting the body to us a lot early on, and they continued pretty steadily. We did do some hitting of our own, but our own hitting wasn't. I think Gooley and Arbor had probably the bigger hits in the game. Um, Slav actually for the forwards was one of the tougher guys to play. He had a good game. So he might not have got on the board, but I'm going to tell you, physically, this was a game Slavkovsky had a good presence in it. I was proud to see what he did there. So, hats up to Slavkovsky. You don't always need to get points. It's what you put in, stay consistent in the game, and he had a good, strong game. Power plays. 0 for 2 for us, 0 for 7 for them. They seemed to have bigger problems. Penalty minutes, we took a lot, 20 minutes. Uh, Giveaways, we gave away 16 times. That's just far too much. That had been a bigger team. We would have gotten beaten. Takeaways, 4 each. Block shots, the Habs did all right in this department, although they outdid us by one, 20-21. So, very physical game. Corey Perry showed his presence, trying to tangle at the side of the net with Arbor Jack, and it was just kind of a funny sequence. Arbor just kind of, you want to keep, and that's Corey Perry. I love Corey Perry, to be quite frank with you. I wish we still had him. He's just he knows how to get under your skin, and he was doing his thing with Arbor, and Arbor just kind of toyed him around like, come on, Corey, you're nothing. And he just gave him a good blast, pop, a good fist in the face as well. So Corey kind of got his medicine, realizing Arbor just giving him the message, you're not going to do this to us, but we know you, but you're not doing this to our team. And so kind of woke up Corey Perry, you just aren't going to be able to do to the demand. But for me, I found, like Dickinson and Tenorti, there was one other player, and they were really giving it to the Habs. So for me, I don't think you always have to get into a fight, but I would like to see somebody address Dickinson. Now, he's put out Slavkovsky last year, ended the season for Slav. Now, let's pray to God, because that was one big hit that Tenorti put on to Dach. But Dickinson, I'll tell you, he put on some hits that easily could have taken somebody out. He was putting the body on hard. For me, I'd like to see the Habs address him. Like, I was good to see the Habs stick up for each other. Anderson in there protecting his teammates, and Jack Eye grabbing two players and stuff. That's just Jack Eye just takes. He's just such a monster. I love this kid, but I'd like to see when in his physicality. Dickinson has come out and been quite a physical presence, and we need an answer to that. To me, this is the guy that it doesn't have to be Arbor Jack Eye, but we needed to say, as a coaching staff, okay, you see the presence of this guy, and he's really getting physical. Start laying the body on him, okay? And it's kind of one that you would like to see someone take one, for the team. If it's Kasevich or uh, you know even Savard could. Savard, I just find Savard's chasing his speeds affects this game a lot, and I don't know if him and Matheson can play together. To be honest, and I've been saying this How long is he going to be able to last in the first pairing? I don't know. I like the way we're rotating, though. So if you can keep an even keel on the three rotations, maybe you don't have to worry about it as much. But you're going to have to do it that way if you're going to keep those two together because his foot speed, and I love Savard because although you catch him watching, he's behind the play a lot. When a goal goes in, he's looking around. However, like I say, our goals were defensive mistakes, no doubt about it, that were scored against us. But Monty, in my books, I don't think he should have been off the hook. I think these were two stoppable goals, to be honest, if he tracked properly. And I think that was the problem, was the tracking of it. However, our defense, we boo-booed. We didn't cover the man well when these goals were scored. We missed assignments. Savard missed an assignment. Cooley's that unlucky play bouncing off his skates. However, I do think Monty could have had that one. Um, it was a good game, but the third period was nothing to write home about. And we got to address that. There always seems, usually it's the second period that we let up. This game, it was the third. And they easily could have got back and even this game and sent it into overtime. However, we got fortunate enough. We hung on. A good game. A lot of positives, like Tanner Pearson had a very good game. Monahan always, he performed wonderful. He was beautiful, like he usually is. And Slab had a good game. Newhook had a good game. Pinard definitely had a good game, a very good, strong game. Ylonen had a better game, too, in this game. He was one of the guys that stood out on the forward group much more. For me, I'm sorry to say this, and I got to bring up a couple topics here as we go. The guy that doesn't seem to be fitting in is Gallagher. And I'm sorry. He's either got to be dropped to the fourth line. He just looks like he's too slow to stay up with the slowest player in the league. And, it's a shame because we all love Galley. His speed's gone, whatever it has done to his body in the lower body area. He just doesn't look. He looks almost like a peewee player out there trying to keep up with junior hockey players. That's what it kind of looks like. Indifferential. And I'm sorry, we're gonna have to accept a blow on this one. It's a sucky contract. We know I don't know, we ever create a miracle and unload this contract, it would be great. I highly doubt it. I'm in the group, and I'm sorry to say this, I would send him to Laval. Someone wants to take the chance, pick him up on waivers, go for it. I think he's hurting the team. And in the regards, what I mean by that, his efforts there. We know Galley's efforts there. His efforts not the answer. He just can't keep pace, and that's where his problem lies. Like I say, the other two played well on his line. It just seems Galley can't keep up his game any further than where it's at. That's what it's looking like anyway, and it's been the question mark. So for me, I would send him to Laval. And give one of these other kids. Now I don't know the severity of Heineman's injury down in Laval, but it sounds like he's out. I hope it's not too serious. Like Dach, two players that and you could inject him, but now he's injured. So, for me, I don't know if Pizzetta's the answer, bringing in a lineup when you're trying to replace the caliber of a Kirby Dach to match that. To me, if Heineman was here, I'd say bring him up. He's not. Bring up Waugh. Because Waugh, those to me are the two guys that if you're going to test out Montreal, it's Heineman and Waugh. There's no doubt they both had, Waugh had an exceptional training camp, and Heineman looks like he's at NHL caliber. He started coming on at the end of the camp. But those two clearly on the offensive front, if you're bringing someone up, I would bring up Waugh personally where Heineman's out. If Dach is out for any amount of time. If he's not, Pizzetta does have to get in the lineup, and that's where I'd sit Galley. I think it's time to sit Galley and put Pizzetta in his place. And I still am as well as Pearson played, and he did. Pearson had a really strong game in this one. Even if you were to move one of the guys on the fourth line, whether it be Pinard or Ylonen, up with Monahan and Pearson, that would be something. Something does have to be adjusted. So you could either send one or you send Pearson down to the third line and maybe instead of Galley going down with him, put Galley out of the lineup and put Pizzetta in. That's your other option. Or again, like we all are saying, why not bring up Wong, give him a shot? He's had a great couple of games in Laval. So for me, that's where it stands. But again, I also want to address the goaltending situation. There's no clear starting goalie between Allen and Mont Montembeau. Both of these games, they played all right. They came through at times to hold their team in for a victory. There should have been two victories here, believe it or not. But was one guy a standout to the other from game to game? No, not in my books at all. Because if you would have put Monty against the Leafs, what would the outcome have been? Remember that. That was the Leafs. So Allen did quite well playing the Leafs. He let in a couple softies. Monty's let both of his goals were softies. And even though they both came through at points in the game and stood their ground, I still haven't seen anything exceptional. So let's not kid ourselves, Habs fans. There's no way we should be praising either of our goalies at the moment. They haven't played to that caliber. They've played all right, but they've also let weak goals in. And that's the problem with our goaltending situation as it is. There's a rumor going around. I've been hearing this on the different podcasts and some news channels. And I've been after this from when the first rumor came out early in the summer of Askarov and us almost making uh, Trotz trying to make a deal for the fifth round. However, I don't know if guys, man, you got to really. Uh, I hear some of the stupid talk on some of these podcasts. The asking price for Askarov, if it is a first round, it's too high. Okay, he has him. He's good. Just the goaltending tenders we know are still the values for them are lower. Um, I don't think he's worth a first round. However, I wouldn't give up. I think there's other avenues. We have so much depth on defense that I would get rid of some of those situations where we do have a couple of defensemen we could trade off to get him. I want to get him. I'm really excited. I think he may be the answer to uh, really he'd be a starting goaltender, or when Fowler gets up, it'd be between you'd have a good 1A 1B, I think, with him and Fowler, and it'd just be a matter of who's going to be 1A and who's going to be 1B. But I would take the chance personally on making a trade for him. A lot's got to go into that. Depends on what the asking price is. And I think Barry Trotz tried to go shoot for the moon. Yes, Askarov's a good goaltender. There's no question, and I really like him, and I want him here if we can get him. The trade's got to be reasonable. To me, first rounder, no, I wouldn't give it up. No, that's if you're giving players up along with it. No, I think we got guys in the system that clearly, yeah, we might have to package two or three guys. Uh, you know, like this is your chance. Do you unload someone like a Norlander um, or Anna Davidson and that type of thing? Do you try to unload, you know, um, one of our veterans and throw Army in the package if you could? I don't know. Whatever the situation is, you might have to bite it. And maybe you give up a. Uh, I'd be more in the caliber giving up a second or second. I'm still in depends on what you're giving with it. But thirds for sure, and fourths later drafts fine. I'm fine with. But second round pick maybe, and like I said, somebody in the caliber of a Norlander and a Davidson. Maybe that's a package that you come up with for Askarov. But anybody to say that this guy's worth a first and a second and high caliber, come on, let's get real. Goaltenders, unless you're um, Shesterkin or Vasilevsky in that caliber, you ain't worth that. Okay? No. So use some common sense when you're talking about valuability, because you don't help the cause with rumorville with your 2 cents. Okay? Because you're not looking at proper um, exchange for these goaltenders. We know they're less valuable in that regard in today's, unless you have the superstar goaltender. And there's not a whole lot of top edge goaltenders right now. They're very limited. So for us, yes, I'd go for Askarov, but I would be like Kent Hughes is being. He's him and Gordon, very wise. That's why you haven't seen them bounce on it. It's been a long time here. I know the Preds probably want to unload them. Well, as long as they want to get a little more realistic, we make the trade, but we make it a little more equal value, right? Because you can't sit there and go, oh, just because he's got a good write-up. Write-ups mean nothing. You can have a Caden Primo, yeah, and there's another guy you could throw in the package. Has a great write-up when he came to Montreal, and we've seen how that turned out. Now that's not enough because he still hasn't gotten his fair shake this season. But could he be thrown in the package? Sure, he could, and that might work for the Preds, where they could throw him back into the AHL system and give him more time to develop, where their goaltending is not a problem right now. So that could probably work in a package. They get a goaltender and a couple young prospects and maybe a second round draft pick or a third. But other than that, uh, I wouldn't go crazy on the drafts. First round, I would be very, nah, I don't think I would do a first rounder for him. Unless you got an extra first round somewhere. And still, I think we've got to be careful with our first rounders because we are seeking a goal scorer in the future. We are seeking our elite superstar, so we might want to keep those first rounders to try to get them because that's our problem now. We got our defense solved. Goaltending is coming. We could still address it. Um, our forwards. That's where the problem. We need that big Mats Naslin, Kovalev, um, Lafleur type of player. We need that. Yes, we have Caulfield, but we still need a big impact player that's even bigger. So that's what we should be focused on because really our ingredients are coming along quite well, and we need to size up front. So that being said, I want to thank you for joining me. But I just addressing some of the dumb comments I hear. Yes, I agree with the comments that we should, I think maybe we take a shot at Askarov, but use some common sense. Some of these people are throwing out trades. No wonder, of course Hughes is not. It's probably sitting back going, yeah, and we wouldn't have a team left if we'd made your type of trade, right? And that's so Hughes. Thank God Hughes and Gordon are smarter. So thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. We got the Wild coming up. We don't fare too well against the Wild. They seem to be a good veteran team, but hopefully they're weakening, and we'll see how it goes. But I don't expect. I expect a loss there. They just play us so hard. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Where's the puck drop first here at Center Hice? We will keep our eye on the Dach situation. Pray to God that he's all right because I love this kid. His ceiling, I think he's just going up and up and up, and God knows where it stops. He is such a blessing um, to the team, and that line was looking so good. It's going to be hard to, recreate the chemistry with him out for any amount of time. So let's hope. And like I say, the team played. We've got a lot of positive. Team has played well in areas. They gotta watch. The week that they're let up in a period. They seem to let up one period of the game. It's either seems to be the second or the third. Usually it's the second. But anyway, leave your comments. I would appreciate to hear them. I always like it, and we're trying to grow. Where's puck drop first? Here, Center Heist. And if you could leave your likes and subscriptions down below in the right hand corner, we would muchly appreciate it. And until the review after the Wild game, we will catch you then. Thank you for watching. God bless. And sorry, I did this at 2 days later only because I was trying to hold on to see if we could get more news on Dach, and it wasn't coming. So I said I got to put this review out because I've held up enough time. I was really hoping we'd get an update that was more thorough, and we haven't. I expect to hear one today, though. Anyway, thank you for watching, and God bless. We'll catch you in the next.